Hello, I'm Hope Logan. I am an actor on Bold and the Beautiful, and many people really love both me and our Bold and the Beautiful drama. So I've come here to share updates about my beloved Bold and the Beautiful. Everyone, please subscribe and support me. If you do, I will keep coming every day with new updates for you. The week of June 22nd through June 26th on The Bold and the Beautiful is shaping up to be a storm of secrets, rivalry, and explosive family conflict as Logan prepares to make a move so bold it sends shockwaves straight through the heart of Forrester Creations. What begins as a strategic fashion decision quickly spirals into something far more personal, igniting old tensions, reopening family fractures, and setting the stage for a showdown that no one will see coming. The pressure is rising on every side, and with emotions running high, the people at the center of it all are about to be pushed into impossible positions. At Logan, a rushed launch promises celebration and triumph. But at Forrester, that same decision lands like a betrayal, leaving stunned faces, bitter accusations, and a family once again divided by ambition, loyalty, and the dangerous cost of keeping secrets. The promo opens on a deceptively quiet, almost intimate moment, with Will Spencer stepping into an outdoor shower and taking advantage of a rare second of peace before the chaos of the day truly begins. The sunlight, the water, the stillness, it all creates the illusion that life is calm, that whatever is coming can somehow be held off for just a little longer. But that illusion doesn't last. Will's thoughts quickly turn to Electra Forrester, and the mood shifts almost instantly from ease to guilt. Because while Electra is looking ahead with hope, support, and loyalty, Will is carrying the heavy burden of a truth he knows could change everything between them. The closer this launch gets, the more impossible it becomes for him to separate business from the people he loves, and the weight of what he's hiding begins to settle on him in a way he can no longer ignore. That guilt only deepens once Electra learns about Logan's upcoming fashion show and realizes just how quickly everything is moving. With genuine warmth and optimism, she throws her support behind Will and his family, making it clear that she hopes tomorrow will be a huge victory for all of them. There's no hesitation in her voice, no suspicion in her eyes, only encouragement, trust, and the kind of faith that makes Will's silence feel even worse. Electra stands by him and by the Spencer side of this launch with an open heart, believing she's cheering on something exciting, something worth celebrating. But for Will, her support becomes almost unbearable because he knows what she doesn't. He knows that behind the polished rollout and the excitement surrounding Logan's next move is a truth that's destined to blow up inside Forrester Creations. And at the center of that truth is Hope Logan Spencer, who is about to emerge as the next big thing at Logan, an explosive development that promises chaos the second it's exposed. Will understands exactly what that revelation will do once it reaches Forrester, and that knowledge hangs over him like a storm cloud he can't outrun. He knows this isn't just another business play or another flashy launch. This is the kind of move that threatens to shake the balance between two powerful families and send tensions at Forrester through the roof. Electra, a Forrester herself, is standing right beside him, cheering for a future she doesn't yet realize could place her directly in the line of fire. That's what makes Will's position so painful. He isn't just hiding a corporate strategy or keeping a temporary secret. He's protecting a truth that could deeply hurt the woman he cares about and ignite a full-blown war between the people closest to them. And even as he tries to hold it together, it becomes clearer that the fallout is no longer a matter of if, but when. Soon enough, the mood shifts from quiet anxiety to full celebration as Logan headquarters comes alive with the energy of a company on the verge of a major triumph. The launch is close, the excitement is building, and there's a sense that everyone involved knows they're standing on the edge of something huge. It's in the middle of that charged atmosphere that Bill Spencer gets his chance to have a serious talk with Will, a conversation that cuts straight through the celebration and lands in the heart of the emotional conflict Will is trying so hard to hide. Bill can see his son's concern, and more specifically, he understands that Electra is at the center of it. He knows Will is worried about how this will affect his girlfriend, about what will happen when the truth finally detonates in front of everyone. But Bill, ever focused on the bigger picture, doesn't soften the reality of the situation. He makes it clear that whatever personal discomfort comes with this, it doesn't change the nature of what's happening. To Bill, this is business, plain and simple, and he's likely to push that point with the cold certainty of someone who has spent a lifetime making hard decisions and expecting others to live with the consequences. He'll acknowledge Will's concern, but only to dismiss it as something secondary to the launch itself. In Bill's eyes, Elektra will simply have to accept what's coming, whether she likes it or not. It's a harsh message, one that places strategy above emotion and results above relationships, and it only intensifies the pressure Will is already under. Because if Will was hoping for reassurance, for some kind of path that wouldn't end with Elektra blindsided and devastated, Bill doesn't offer it. Instead, he reinforces the brutal truth of the moment. Once Logan's plan is in motion, no one gets spared just because the fallout might hurt. Meanwhile, over at Forrester Creations, the atmosphere is entirely different, still polished, still glamorous, but carrying none of the celebration building at Logan. Instead, there's the steady confidence of a fashion house focused on its own major moment, especially with Eric Forrester's return to couture looming large as a headline-worthy event. But into that world walks Dottie Bright, accompanied by her assistant Joseph, and with their arrival comes the kind of announcement that can change the mood in a room in an instant. It appears Dottie catches the latest Logan update on her phone, and what she reads is enough to stop the emotional temperature at Forrester cold. In a single revelation, she delivers news no one there was prepared to hear. Logan is dropping its new collection tomorrow. Not next week, not later, tomorrow. And just like that, the air in the room changes. The shock ripples through Forrester Creations with immediate force, leaving Brooke Logan Forrester, Ridge Forrester, Steffi Forrester Finnegan, and everyone else reeling from the sheer audacity of it. What was supposed to be a major Forrester moment is suddenly under threat of being overshadowed by Logan's rushed and mysterious new collection. The timing is impossible to ignore, and the implications are even harder to dismiss. For those standing inside Forrester, it won't feel like coincidence. It will feel targeted, strategic, and deeply personal. Brooke especially won't be able to let it go. She'll hear the news and instantly see the problem beneath it. Logan is moving at lightning speed, and somebody has made sure this launch lands at exactly the right moment to steal attention away from Eric's return to couture. In that instant, what could have remained a tense business rivalry becomes something much more volatile, a family betrayal wrapped in couture and ambition. It won't take Brooke long to act on that fury. Fueled by suspicion, frustration, and the sting of what looks like a deliberate power move, she storms straight into Katie's office, ready for a confrontation that is anything but polite. Brooke doesn't hold back. She accuses Katie of trying to one-up Forrester Creations by rushing this new collection out as fast as possible, turning what should have been a proud and emotional return for Eric into a distraction. From Brooke's point of view, the strategy is obvious. Katie is making sure all eyes are on Logan's mysterious designer debut instead of on Eric reclaiming his place in couture at Forrester. And if that's true, then this isn't just aggressive timing, it's sabotage by someone who should know exactly what this means to the family. Brooke's anger isn't just professional, it's personal, sharpened by disbelief that Katie would go this far. As the confrontation escalates, Brooke pushes even harder, demanding to know how Katie could possibly have found a new designer so quickly. The question hangs in the air with all the weight of an accusation, because Brooke doesn't believe this happened cleanly, easily, or by chance. Something about the speed of it feels wrong to her, and the more Katie stands her ground, the more convinced Brooke becomes that there's something shady happening beneath the surface. Hidden nearby, Hope listens from behind a changing screen, absorbing every word of the confrontation as it unfolds. It's a perfect soap opera moment, one of those tense, breath-held scenes where every glance, every pause, every loaded sentence feels like it could trigger a chain reaction. And then Katie, with a smugness that only pours gasoline on Brooke's anger, suggests that they simply got really lucky. It's the kind of answer that sounds almost too neat, too casual, too self-satisfied to be believed, and Brooke is far from convinced. That single smug remark only deepens Brooke's suspicions, because now the whole situation feels less like good fortune and more like a secret that hasn't been fully exposed yet. Hope, still listening in secret, becomes part of the tension herself, a silent witness standing just out of sight, while the women in front of her battle over a truth that's clearly more dangerous than either of them is openly admitting. Brooke can feel it, even if she can't prove it yet. She knows there's more to this story than Katie is willing to say, and the emotional stakes are rising by the second. What began as a shocking announcement about a fashion launch has now become a full-blown family face-off, with mistrust, resentment, and buried motives colliding all at once. And according to the bold and the beautiful spoilers, this is only the beginning, because Brooke and Katie are headed for yet another fierce showdown, one that promises to drag every hidden agenda, every personal grudge, and every dangerous secret even closer to the surface. By the end of the week's preview, one thing is painfully clear. This isn't just about fashion anymore. It's about loyalty being tested, relationships being strained, and old family wounds being reopened in the middle of a battle for control, recognition, and revenge. Will is trapped between love and secrecy. Bill is pushing business over emotion. Electra is unknowingly standing on the edge of heartbreak, and Brooke is charging straight into a conflict she believes was engineered to hurt the people she loves. At Logan, a celebration is building. At Forrester, suspicion is taking root. And in between those two worlds stands a truth so explosive that once it fully comes out, no one will be able to pretend this was ever just another launch. The week ahead promises glamour, confrontation, betrayal, and emotional fallout in true bold and the beautiful fashion. And if this preview is any indication, the runway won't be the only place where sparks fly. As the tension continues to build beneath the surface of both Logan and Forrester creations, the emotional stakes only deepen, pulling every character closer toward a collision they can no longer avoid. What once looked like a routine business rivalry now feels like a tightly coiled storm, waiting for the exact moment to break apart everything in its path. The pressure surrounding Logan's accelerated launch begins to ripple outward like shockwaves, affecting not just boardrooms and design studios, but personal relationships that were already standing on fragile ground. Every secret kept, every half-truth spoken, and every carefully chosen word begins to feel heavier as the countdown to the launch reaches its final hours. No one can escape the sense that something irreversible is about to happen, and the calm before the storm is growing thinner by the minute. Will Spencer remains trapped in the center of that storm, caught between loyalty to his family and the emotional bond he shares with Electra Forrester. The more he tries to carry the burden silently, the more it presses down on him, shaping every interaction into something strained and uneasy. Electra's unwavering trust becomes both a comfort and a punishment, because her belief in him only magnifies the weight of what he has not yet confessed. She continues to stand by him without hesitation, offering support that feels pure and unconditional, unaware that the foundation beneath them is already beginning to crack. Will's inner conflict intensifies as he imagines the moment when the truth will finally surface, knowing that no amount of preparation will soften the impact when it does. At Logan headquarters, the atmosphere of anticipation begins to shift into something closer to triumph, as if the entire company is standing on the edge of a breakthrough moment. The energy is celebratory, but beneath it lies a nervous edge, the kind that comes when success is so close it almost feels unreal. Bill Spencer, ever the strategist, continues to frame the situation through a lens of control and consequence, reinforcing the idea that hesitation has no place in their plans. His influence looms over Will like a constant reminder that decisions made in business rarely allow room for emotional compromise. Yet even as Bill pushes forward with unwavering certainty, Will finds himself questioning not the plan itself, but the cost it will demand from the people he cares about most. Meanwhile, at Forrester Creations, the shock of Logan's sudden launch announcement refuses to settle. The initial disbelief has transformed into suspicion, and suspicion is now hardening into confrontation as every executive tries to make sense of what this move truly means. The timing feels too precise, too strategic, and too disruptive to be dismissed as coincidence, especially with Eric Forrester's couture return standing at the heart of Forrester's own ambitions. What should have been a moment of pride and legacy is now overshadowed by uncertainty, forcing everyone to question whether Logan's actions are simply bold ambition or something far more calculated. The atmosphere grows sharper with every passing moment as alliances are tested and old rivalries begin to resurface. Brooke Logan Forrester's confrontation with Katie Logan Spencer escalates even further as emotions spill over into accusations that cut deeper than professional disagreement. Brooke's frustration is fueled not just by the business implications, but by a sense of betrayal that someone within her own family could be orchestrating something so disruptive. Katie, however, maintains a composed exterior, standing firm in her decisions while refusing to fully reveal the deeper strategy behind the rushed launch. Her calm demeanor only intensifies Brooke's suspicion, making every response feel like a carefully guarded secret rather than a straightforward explanation. The office becomes a battleground of words and intention, where every pause carries meaning and every glance suggests something unspoken. Behind the tension, Hope Logan remains hidden, silently absorbing the entire exchange as though she has stumbled into a moment that will define everything that follows. From her concealed vantage point, she witnesses not just an argument, but the fracture lines forming within her own family, lines that seem ready to split open at any moment. The secrecy surrounding Logan's new designer debut adds another layer of unease, especially as Katie's smug confidence clashes with Brooke's rising anger. Nothing about the situation feels stable or accidental anymore. Instead, it feels orchestrated in a way that no one fully understands yet. Hope's silence mirrors the growing uncertainty in the room, as if even speaking too loudly might push everything over the edge. As Brooke continues to press Katie for answers, the conversation reaches a point where trust itself becomes the central issue. The idea of luck, casually offered by Katie, lands like an insult wrapped in confidence, making Brooke even more convinced that something deeper is being concealed. The suggestion that such a major launch could come together so quickly without careful planning feels implausible to her, and that doubt quickly turns into determination. She refuses to accept surface-level explanations, instead digging deeper into every inconsistency she can sense. The emotional distance between the sisters widens further with each passing exchange, transforming what might have been a strategic disagreement into a personal divide that feels increasingly difficult to repair. And as both sides continue to move forward on their respective paths, Logan toward an imminent launch and Forrester toward mounting suspicion, the sense of inevitability grows stronger. No matter how carefully anyone tries to control the situation, the underlying truth is beginning to push its way toward the surface. Every character is now standing on the edge of consequences they helped create, whether knowingly or not, and the fallout promises to reach far beyond any single fashion collection or corporate rivalry. The week ahead is no longer just about competition. It has become a tangled web of loyalty, secrecy, and emotional reckoning that is ready to unravel at any moment. And when it finally does, nothing at Forrester or Logan will remain the same.